The biggest story of the day today is a perception which is being created by the center that the Chinese troops have withdrawn. There are some military strategists who are still arguing that from the contentious areas around Ladakh along the line of actual control, the story which is being put out that Chinese troops have withdrawn isn't entirely factually correct. But there is another dimension of this story. And it's to talk about that dimension that I have with me my colleague Siddharth Zarabi. What exactly could have been done in order to prevent what has happened along the line of actual control? Siddharth, let's leave aside this debate of whether the troops have withdrawn, not withdrawn. What the country would really like to know is that was there a system that could have alerted us maybe in advance about the movement of these Chinese troops?
Well, excellent point. And like you said, Bhupen, we are not getting into the veracity of what is happening on the LAC, and we will leave it for others to debate that. The specific point that you raised, and I must tell you and our viewers that just a few hours ago, I have on my Twitter handle put out a story where I have used a term called Project Deep Eyes. I must clarify that this is my own term, where I have seen information, visuals, and technical details, Bhupen, which tell me about a system that would have given early warning, constant warning, and real-time visuals, both in still as well as video format, to our frontline forces, including the ITBP as well as the army. And through that, as you would know, it would essentially be the needs of both the defense ministry and the home ministry in that very vital sector. And this was a project that was initiated in 2014. If you take a look at those visuals, we are not in a position, Bhupen, to share all those details, obviously for national security considerations, but there indeed was a very simple yet high-tech system that could have given early and constant visual updates and warnings of any abnormal movements of troops or logistics.
If that is the case, exactly what time period are we talking about, Siddharth? Are we talking about the system being in existence when the UPA was in power? Is that the time period that we're looking at?
No, the system came up in 2015, Bhupen. And in fact, there were nearly a dozen, 10 to 12 systems that were to come up at different locations. Again, you will understand why I'm refraining from naming the locations. But one system which was put in place happened after a lot of sort of back and forth, because what I have learned is that in a way, the standard bureaucratic red tapeism that causes issues in most defense procurement deals, even the smallest ones to the largest ones, Bhupen, caused a situation where the bureaucratic nod was for only one a test system, and a second stage approval was also not provided, where the live video was to be attached from that system. So what you ended up with was one system at a height of around 5,300 meters above sea level in a extremely forward location at a very sensitive point, where real-time information for our fighting forces, the ITBP and the Indian Army, is absolutely essential. And remember, Bhupen, if someone says, what is the need for a terrain-based visual system? Well, you have weather, you have clouds, and your own systemic issues, capacity issues, where you cannot have constant airborne warning. Terrain-based warning systems, and I have some reporting experience in this, are considered durable, sustainable solutions. So what happened? You had a systems at different points to have provided you early warning. The question that we are really raising here is, why did the bureaucracy interfere with the military planners' demands and their own assessment of what was needed? Why were decisions taken to only put up a test system? Why was the live visual component that would have provided real-time information to headquarters in Delhi taken away? And why has it taken so many years after the initial success for a long-term, for a larger system not to be established?
So the point that you're making, Siddharth, is that there is a separate dimension to the story as well. While with the kind of controls that appear to have been put in by the government on reportage on what has happened in Ladakh, it may be a while before we really get to know of the reality. But the truth is, this reality, the actual scenario which is unfolding, may not have unfolded if we would not have stalled the kind of systems that you're talking about. So that, thanks very much.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you very much, Bhupen.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.